Shalom. I want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Yahweh is who the world ignorantly calls God. Yahweh Shai is his son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, and there's no God beside them. I want to give double honors to the apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone for being faithful witnesses to the Holy Spirit, and salutations to the elect whom the Most High have given ears to hear. And the title of this lesson is going to be When You Realize You're Fighting for a Bitter Life. And as you see here, this is a picture of a military personnel. Looks like a Air Force person. And they're holding their head down in distress. All right, which this is actually from an article. Let me see if it'll go back, because this is actually from an article I seen on the I believe it was Zero Hedge. Yeah, it says the U.S. military suicide crisis. Now it says nearly half of those serving in the U.S. military have contemplated suicide since joining the forces, according to the Iraq and Afghanistan Veterans of America members 2022. This is a huge jump up from the 9% that said they had thought about taking their own life before signing up. The following chart from Statista and Fleck illustrates how the United States has a suicide crisis on its hands, which seemingly is not showing signs of abating. If anything, it has worsened, with the 2014 data recording a slightly lower 31% of veterans having experienced suicidal thoughts. The U.S. military's suicide crisis share of veterans who have considered taking their own lives before and after joining the military. Well, as you see, the lighter gray is prior, and then the darker is since. You see? So you see it's way worse for those that actually have joined the military. All right? Well, as it says, I'll just let that sink in. I'm trying to zoom out, but I guess it's not allowing me to. Nevertheless, as you see, it's at least 6 times higher. Something like 6 times higher of a chance or a thought to off yourself since joining the beast system. Because this place orchestrates death. When you go in the book of Habakkuk 2, it speaks about how this man is as death. He keep him not at home. When you join the military, your missions consist of you going to oppress someone else. Consist of you putting someone else in slavery for their resources. All right? Meanwhile, you, as a so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American, this land don't give a fuck about you. And you see what you're forced to do. A lot of times orders given to you and you don't necessarily agree with it, but it's orders, so you have to take it. Well, as it says, according to a 2021 report by Thomas Howard Sweet at Boston University, suicide rates among the active military personnel and veterans of the post 9/11 wars have been climbing in recent years. While the same trend can be said of the general public in the military and veteran sphere, it's happening at an even faster rate. And on another note, America's finished. You know, because you got suicides, and then you got, of course, people dropping unalive because they took that Satan's juice, and then you got people that hasn't joined, or you have a massive shortage of military personnel. This on top of the fact that America is constantly, starting other wars around the world. So it says, to put this into context, estimates currently put the figure of suicides among active duty personnel and veterans of the post 9/11 wars at 30,177, a high number, especially with considering that 7,057 U.S. service members were killed in war operation in that time. Reasons attributed to the higher suicide rates among those in the military and veterans include the high exposure to trauma, stress, military culture, and training. Because going into the military is just another form of hazement, of being hazed. Whereas they dress it up as, they getting you prepared for war. These devils, a lot of times, of course you got Jake in these higher positions, but you also have these devils that can treat a Jake like shit, and it's overlooked, because it's like, that's how, that's the culture, that's the nature of how you have to be to prepare a soft ass civilian, for war. However, factors such as the rise of improvised explosive devices and advances to medical treatment that keep service members in the military longer are also cited. Such high suicide rates, Swift concludes, mark the failure of U.S. government and U.S. society to manage the mental health costs of our current conflicts. And it's good for, a lot of you jigs, because they don't count the cost. As what, there was a article, or not an article, but a video, this Jake woman crying, because I want to say it was around the time of, it was like the height of World War, the height of, what was it? It's been so much going on, it's so hard to keep up with everything, but basically, you had, I'm guessing it was, at a high time of like a scare of World War III happening, and this Jake woman was crying because she said she didn't sign up for that. Because a lot of people, they sign up, for, money. They think they're going to go through the 4 years, through they one tour and come back home. But little do they know, America will get touched. All right? This place in the scriptures is known as Babylon, the virgin daughter of Babylon. All right? But this place won't be such a virgin for long. As this prophecies, like it was Ezekiel 39. All right, that the Most High is going to cause, it's like 38. It's 38, 39. It speaks about how the Most High is going to cause these other nations, all right, specifically those Russians, to come in and ransack this place. All right, you will go to war. And I got another article, because in this article it speaks about some of the reasons of suicides. All right, include the high exposure to trauma, stress, military culture. All right, and then this other article says why falling confidence in America's military is creating a real crisis. The public's confidence in the U.S. military is the lowest it's been in decades, and is doing no favors to the armed forces' current recruitment struggles. Which is why I believe, these devils recreating the contracts to where whomever they have, they're not allowing them to leave, because they can't replenish those numbers. Thanks to a combination of culture, war issues, fresh reports of sexual assaults. These are fresh reports, meaning new reports. All right, because what they're not telling you about is how women, even men, are constantly getting sexually assaulted in the barracks, and suicides within the ranks. Right, I'll read it again. Thanks to a combination of culture, war issues, fresh reports of sexual assaults and suicide within the barracks. Again, going into what the culture, all right, the military culture, and a disastrous end to the Afghanistan war 2 years ago, Americans' perception of the armed forces has taken a hit, according to experts in recent polls. It's a confluence of lots of things, and it's become a real crisis. The latest number from Gallup, taken from a poll conducted June 1st to the 22nd, found that Americans' confidence in the military was at its lowest point in 25 years, 60%. All right, so now, as we just read the chart of those that went into the military are contemplating suicide. All right, again, you see those that outside looking in, that are saying, hell nah. They don't trust this country. All right. Whereas now, a lot of people are waking up to the machination being a scam. And just a lot of different a lot of the different wicked ideologies, the wicked acts of America. It says the last time it was this low was in 1997. Republican sentiment has seen a particularly steep decline, dropping from 91% to 68% in the past 3 years. Pentagon Press Secretary Brig General Pat Ryder on Thursday said while he wasn't in a position to address the why behind the decrease, he maintained that the Defense Department will continue to try to earn the trust and confidence of Americans. All right, and the brother Ariya Kayal, he did a lesson going into how the draft will come back. All right, because this devil's he's gonna have to force the people to go into war, because a lot of people ain't with the shits. It says popularity ebbs and flows over time. Ryder told reporters, "We don't take public trust and confidence for granted. As an all-volunteer force, we know that we have a responsibility to Congress and the American public to ensure that they have an understanding of what we're doing to defend the country." Nah, you're not defending shit. If anything, you're on the offense. Sticking your nose here, sticking your nose there, again, to really just rape the country and oppress the people. Right? And anybody with a conscience, all right, knows that this is wrong, what they're doing. How we are spending taxpayers' dollars, like they give a fuck about that. How we are employing the resources that we've been entrusted within. The military has long found itself entwined in various cultural war issues, but increasingly has found itself under criticism from the right in recent years over various social policies. Because we're in a time of revelation. All right. Well, as the scriptures say, what's that? 2 Thessalonians 2. That the devil should be revealed. All right. The scriptures speak about how the devil shall be revealed in this time. Let me grab that, because I got a few precepts I want to bring out, but let me start off with that. All right, so this is 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. Verse 6. And now ye know what withholdeth, that he might be revealed in his time. All right, so in this chapter, it speaks about how the man of sin, Esau, Edom, should be revealed, and the things that should happen up into the world seeing, or up until the world finding out who he is, the so-called white man, the fucking devil, the wicked. All right, but it says at the same time, it's not as if it's making us support to the left, where different kinds of worries are aimed at the military. The Reagan Institute, in a separate survey last year, found that trust in the military was at 48%, with both Republicans and Democrats believing that politicization played the biggest role in the low numbers. While more Republicans see woke policies as threatening the military, Democrats perceive extremist services members as the biggest danger. The military is caught up in a bit in the culture wars, I'm afraid, than the bad news stories above about sexual assault, accidents, and other things reinforce the impression of the military as a less excellent institution. Even though these problems are no worse within the armed forces than outside, losing a war in Afghanistan doesn't help. Conservatives, in particular, have targeted the military over diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. All right, I may put this in the description box so you brothers can read it. But as always, we must bring out scriptures. All right, so this is Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 1. The word of Yahweh, real excited here. The word that Yahweh spake against Babylon and against the land of the Chaldeans by Jeremiah the prophet. Declare ye among the nations, and publish and set up a standard, publish and conceal not. Say, Babylon is taken, Bel is confounded, Merodach is broken in pieces, her idols are confounded, her images are broken in pieces. And we're in that time to where America, aka Babylon, the virgin daughter of Babylon, the mother of harlots, Sodom, spiritually Sodom in Egypt, is being found out. To where the people are not falling for the okie doke, falling for the philosophies that it pushes, that is there to defend the world and trust in us. We're here to help. Nobody believes that anymore. All right. And on all facets, it seems in these days, America is being left in the dust. Here it is. Now you have, what they said, something like 40-some countries is dropping the petrodollar, signing on with the BRICS nations. All right. This place is made to be destroyed. It's on its way to destruction. You got that happening. You got massive sightings, an uptick rather in sightings and reports of so-called UFO sightings, which those are the chariots of God. All right, they represent the fact that the Lord said that His eyes are upon the sinful kingdom, and He will destroy it from the face of the earth. All right, far of the north there cometh up a nation against her, which shall make her land desolate, and none shall dwell therein. They shall remove, they shall depart, both man and beast. All right, because this place is going to be destroyed. All right, Russia's going to be the spearhead of that. In those days and in that time, saith the Lord, the children of Israel shall come. Salakia. Was it 50? Salakia. It was 51, my bad. But that's a good one. But we're going to jump to Jeremiah 51. And 1. Thus saith Yahweh, behold, I will raise up against Babylon and against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise up against me a destroying wind. That destroying wind, as is also written of in Isaiah 14, is the wind sent forth from a nuclear attack. and will send unto Babylon fanners that shall fan her. All right. And when you add air to fire, it makes it even worse. And shall empty her land. For in the day of trouble they shall be against her round about. Against him that bendeth, let the archer bend his bow. All right. Which America is not coincidentally. All right. America is at war, or is on pace to go to war with two nuclear powers, America and Russia and China. Because the scriptures will stand true. Against him that bendeth, let the archer bend his bow, and against him that lifteth himself up in his brigandine, and spare ye not her young men, destroy ye utterly all her hosts. Thus the slain shall fall in the land of the Chaldeans, and they that are thrust through in her streets. For Israel have not been forsaken, nor Judah of his God, the Lord of hosts, though their land was filled with sin against the Holy One of Israel. Yahweh Shem Yahushua is going to bring destruction upon our enemies. At the end thereof, he shall save us from this bitter life. It's only him that can save us. You cannot save yourself. All right, because that's another reason people go into the military, because they believe that they believe that they're creating a better life for their family. Not knowing again that you're only upholding your bitterness. This place ought to be destroyed. And this place don't give a fuck about you, you so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans. For Israel have not been forsaken, nor Judah of his God, of the Lord of hosts, though the land was filled with sin against the Holy One of Israel. Flee out of the midst of Babylon, and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of Yahweh's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense. And Yahweh is going to send his son Yahushua in the midst of World War III. All right. To destroy Esau, Edom, his hegemony, his armies. And you Jakes, if you get in the way of that, you're going to be put down too. The Lord told us to flee out of the midst, not physically, but spiritually. Get your mind out of this place. All right? You're watching for a place, or you're watching for a nation that cannot save you. Let's grab that. All right? Best believe your mindset of making it in this place, going to war for this devil, you're going to take what he has to offer. Right? What he has to offer is pain, toil. Right? This is Lamentations chapter 4, verse 17. As for us, our eyes has yet fell for our vain help. In our watching, we have watched for a nation that could not save us. Isaiah chapter 30, verse 1. Woe to the rebellious children, saith Yahweh, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin. Right? Because you're covering yourself under the shadow of death. All right? Under the spirit that the Lord hates. Under the spirit of pride. What are you upholding when you go to the military? All right? You're upholding pride. All right? Which that's an abomination to the Lord. All right? You upholding the mindset of you're upholding a godless society. So again, you upholding that, you got to be put down. It's not the scripture saying, what's that, Psalms, I want to say 10 and 5. Let's grab it real quick. Really didn't intend for this lesson to be that long, but you know how it goes. Psalms 11 and 5. The Lord trieth the righteous, but the wicked and him that loveth violence, his soul hateth. Just look up the documentary, All Wars Are Bankers' Wars. Upon the wicked he shall rain snares. And look into America's history. How many years has it been at war since it's been in rulership? And in horrible tempest, this shall be the portion of their cup. Upon the wicked he shall rain snares, fire, and brimstone. And in horrible tempest, this shall be the portion of their cup. All right? And this is going to be the end of the road for you, that sign up to fight for the wicked. And this is not us saying it. This is the Lord saying it. Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be ashamed, back at Isaiah 30 and 3. And the trust in the shadow of Egypt, your confusion. All right, let's grab that word confusion. What's that? Isaiah 30. And 3. The word confusion means disgrace, reproach, dishonor, ignominy. Look that word up. The word ignominy meaning public shame or disgrace, humiliation. All right, and then now we just read. A lot of the suicidal thoughts comes from the the military culture. Again, the humiliation, just the fucking fuckery that you got to deal with. For you woman, a sexual assault. You're gonna have to go to war. All right. So it says that's pretty much it. Let's grab Deuteronomy 28 and we're gonna close out there. Deuteronomy 28 verse 29. And thou shalt grope at noonday. Let's grab it in the NLT. Deuteronomy 28 and 28. The Lord will strike you with madness, blindness, and panic. You will grope around in broad daylight like a blind person groping in the darkness, but you will not find your way. And it was a quote that a brother said. One of the brothers in the camp, he was saying how he said something along the lines of like, there's nothing worse than disappointment. When something that you love disappoints you, something that you love, you put your trust in, it disappoints you, it breaks your spirit. Just watch that movie Born on the 4th of July. With Tom Cruise, he was all gun-ho. America, the army, left that bitch with nothing, man. I believe he was became paralyzed or something like that from the waist down. But you will not find your way. You will be oppressed and robbed continually, and no one will come to save you. You will be engaged to a woman, but another man will sleep with her. You will build a house, but someone else will live in it. You will plant a vineyard, but you will never enjoy its fruits. Your ox will be butchered before your eyes, but you will not eat a single bite of the meat. Your donkey will be taken from you, never to be returned. All right. Hey, the brother Ariel Kayal, he made a beautiful point. Why fight for a nation that don't fight for you? You going out to fight for this man, and you turn, you bring back the spoils to him, just to find out he killed your brother, just to find out he killed your son. just to find out he killed your cousin, just to find out he passed another law, all right, to criminalize your nation. Your sheep and goats will be given to your enemies, and no one will be there to help you. You will watch your sons and daughters are taken away as slaves. Your heart will break for them, but you won't be able to help them. You know, the scriptures say, death is better than the life of continual sickness. This is a sick society, right? In which grief of heart is somewhat it's a sickness. You know, so a lot of people just rather just say fuck it. You know, contemplating that suicide, which, you know, we're not advocating that, but that's what happens when you put your trust in something and it disappoints you severely. All right. So nevertheless, you know, fear the Lord, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, and flee out of the midst, because it's not too late. You know, you got to flee out of the midst of this place. All right. So with that, salutations to the elect.